Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday. You know what that means. It's time for the Greg Cherry Show.
Woo-woo.
Here on all those networks, on the Greg Cherry brand, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. We're on Twitch, on the Jeff Meacham Network, on YouTube, on Facebook,
Live Journal,
on Twitter,
MySpace.
Yeah, we're everywhere you can find us. Pretty much, we're there.
Right. We're on. What was the one before Live Journal? We're on
MySpace.
We're on MSN Live, folks. That's right.
MSN. Oh my gosh.
AOL Instant Messenger. If you're seeing us there, God bless you.
We're live on ICQ right now.
Okay. All right. You win. There you go. Oh, wow.
Lost control of the show already, but it's perfectly fine. I mean, this show has no let's be honest, this show has zero structure whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is complete bullshit
format
for an hour every week. I would say there's nothing redeeming about this show, but we love you guys for
That's right. We claim to have a format each Wednesday, and then we go, screw it. Let's just go for it.
That's pretty much it. It's like, hey, we have things we want to talk about. You know what? I'm not even going to put up graphics. So like, screw it. We're going to talk about what we want. There's no, we might get the weird laws. We might not. Who knows?
Yeah. It's tentative Idaho laws, which, bound to be strange anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even said F it with the description this week. It's like, what happens on the show. It's not like the same show every week necessarily, because the topics differ. Like there's news to talk about.
Yes.
But we just kind of go off the rails. This show is very much stream of consciousness.
It very, very much so. And I just want to say before we get into the actual meat and potatoes of the show, I'm looking forward to seeing the girls next week. You saw the trailer there. They're on the prowl again. They're going to be in Vegas Friday, which those girls in Vegas equals I'm staying here for reasons of my health, mainly my liver at this point. But next Wednesday, a week from tonight, I will be on. I probably won't be on the show next week, honestly, because I'll be on my way down to Sunset to see them at the Whiskey. So it'll be a Jeffless Greg Cherry show next week, which isn't always a bad thing. But yeah. Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. I take it back. I won't be on my way. Santa will be on his way to the Whiskey Go to be with the at the Paradise Kitty show. So there you go.
Yeah. You've never seen Santa and Jeff in the same room.
Funny how that works. Well, no, that's not true. Talk wrestling.
Oh, that's true. So you brought up health, and I did want to bring up something serious real quick on the show.
All right.
So my nephew tested positive for COVID this weekend, and so Jen and I were in contact with him over the weekend.
Oh,
so we did our test today. We won't know, but we'll pray that comes back negative. So it's a serious thing to talk about. We both have our vaccines, like we're covered on that base, but it's just one of those things. It's just really bad timing, especially with Christmas coming up.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say,
here's hoping for a negative test. I don't have any symptoms. Like I'm perfectly fine. It's just like my normal allergies and stuff. I haven't noticed anything different. She said she was having a little issue with smelling, but again, that could be allergies or a sinus infection or something. So we'll see.
Right. Yeah. I didn't mention it yesterday because I wasn't sure if it was okay. I've been told it is now. Bailey's entire household has it. She got it, her kiddo and her mom. So it's just like, and what's obnoxious is, I have the funniest feeling it was due to her son's father. I don't know if that's the case, but he's been going to work every day, and I don't know if he's back. I don't talk to him, so your mind just starts going everywhere. Because my whole plan was I fully intended to, go through Christmas with Dylan because he'll be back here Christmas Eve night. Have that couple of days where he's here, and then I was going to go up and surprise her. Well, I ain't going near that place now. And on top of it, on the off chance I would get to go surprise Paradise Kitty for a Friday show, I got nowhere to crash now because it's either COVID den or a den of kitties, not Paradise Kitties, which leads to instant death for me with the cat hair. So it's kind of like, hi girls, see you next Wednesday, which is fine because it's here. But yeah, I will tell you folks, whatever you believe, don't believe, political, whatever, go get vaccinated. Goodness sakes. Oh.
Yeah, we took care of ours back in June.
Right.
So, and also politics is a work, so screw them.
That's right.
So
I love you advertised the one shirt about, people suck. It's like, both those shirts apply ad nauseum the last few weeks or so around here. So I feel
it is an evergreen shirt, which is a wonderful thing.
Yes.
And it makes me wish I had more people follow me, because I feel like a lot of people would relate to that. Be like, that's such a good saying. It's such a good catchprise, because
it is.
Yeah, people really do suck. It's like, I don't have COVID, but people suck. So screw them. I'm staying home. It is like the dream shirt for an introvert.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those where people think I'm this big extrovert. It's like, man, if you know me, doing something like this outside of this little wall, it's like, no, I'm good. Thanks. I don't, doing what I was doing in indie wrestling was not my comfort zone at all. It still isn't. And it's been almost, it's been over 10 years since I did that. So it's definitely a daunting thing. I will say this though. I was proud of myself. I'm not going to lie. I was, feeling really cruddy yesterday after all the news we were getting. We lost Jimmy Rave this last week, and now my best friend's got the virus and everything. And then I've like, you know what? I've had a lot of cool things happen in this crazy ass calendar year that I don't often reflect on to get myself out of it. I went and found pictures from the entire year of all the cool stuff I get to do. That's going to be part of the anniversary show. That whole segment's going to be okay. Yeah, 2021 bit a nut, right? But this whole year I got to do this. So let's try to focus on that as we go in 2022. Like, I got to do a lot of cool stuff when I didn't really have to, or probably shouldn't have done a lot of it, but I got to go. Or I got to do. So big picture, it wasn't a horrible year personally. Big picture, globally, this year has sucked for everybody. So you just gotta kind of weigh it in. But like I said, I've officially made that a segment for the anniversary show on January 1st, which is already stacked as it is with people. They're gonna be, everybody's gonna be coming in, talking about what's coming on their network. I'm sure we're gonna talk a lot about WTC when you pop in. It's
that's just, if I get to pop in, because Notre Dame plays Oklahoma State on the 1st. So
what time is the game?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah,
you're good. We're not starting until noon my time. So
okay, so you'll be in progress while the game's still going on.
Yeah, I can always bring in a halftime. And whatever, we're bringing Mikey in on his lunch shift because he's going to be working Dollywood New Year's Day. So,
jeez, why are they open New Year's Day? That should be like a company-wide holiday.
Christmas Eve and Christmas Day he's off, which, knowing Dolly, that makes total sense. New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. Who's open New Year's Day besides like gas stations? And I actually had to work at a grocery store on New Year's Day once.
Oh, wow. There you go. Yeah, see, theme parks are a thing on New Year's Day because you figure Disneyland's only closed on purpose like a few times before the COVID closure this last year. Yeah. Same with Six Flags, same with same with Universal. They all close, very rarely, if ever. So,
well, speaking of things that happened, I want to read Josh's comment here.
Yes, definitely.
He has a couple. He says, "Holy freaking crap, the Browns COVID list. I want to cry." Which, my goodness. And I saw a Facebook post, Josh, I hate to like bring this up to you. And we have a super chat from Brett because we always do. And Brett, I will get to that in just a minute, but I want to talk about this. So yeah, the Browns have it's like 10 or 11 players on the COVID list right now, like starters.
Yeah.
So, and Josh was saying that they should postpone the game because they have a lot of people out. So naturally, me being me replied, "Who do you think you are? The Ravens?"
Well, they are technically anyway.
I mean, yeah, but the Browns beat the Ravens this past Sunday, which was awesome for the Steelers. The Bengals fell in overtime to the 49ers. Yeah, that was awesome for the Steelers because the Steelers looked like a pile of shit last Thursday until about the fourth quarter. But I'll be honest with you, I watched the first 7 minutes. I watched the first quarter and a half of that game and then went to bed because Steelers offense couldn't move and Steelers defense couldn't stop anybody. So it was like, okay, it's 29-0. I'm going to bed. Wake up the next morning, find out they nearly damn well tied the game and went to overtime. I'm like, how in the frick? Play like that the whole game.
Ass. That's right. We love you, Manfield. Where to go?
The second part about this, I did not see this because I haven't seen the full episode. He says he turned on the past few minutes of Quizomania and turned it on just in time to hear Sean say my name. Completely unprompted because I didn't send anything in, so I don't know how my name came up, but cool.
It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna have to see the context of it.
Yeah.
It might be because of that Rumble thing I told you about before the show, but I have no idea.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
And
The
he
fact
also
that-
says,
Yeah.
"Go ahead."
The fact that your name was mentioned out loud on Quizlemania is a good step in the right direction. So
I'm not going to
saying.
get my hopes up. Like,
I know.
it's one of those things. It's like if it happens, it happens. But we'll see. 6-time fan Quizlemania champion.
That's right.
Possibly
there you
go. Later this month. Josh says, found out my good friend Jonathan, who's in our fantasy league, is actually best friends with Parker Boudreaux, Harland. That's
the dude that looks like Brock Lesnar, right?
Yeah, he's the
Yeah,
one with
okay.
Joe Gacy on NXT.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'm still trying to keep track of it. I'm still trying to catch up on NXT. I've been such a bad NXT fan.
Yeah. Hey, Brian Kendrick was on NXT, getting thrown
He
down the
was?
stairs by Harland.
Right. Yeah. I found it funny he was on NXT right after you did his entrance. It's like, or actually, after you mentioned doing his entrance, you actually didn't do it, but you were talking about doing it if you got super chatted. So,
Yeah. I was gonna say, I literally watched part of the championship scramble that the Brian Kendrick was in,
right?
just because I love that concept, and they had not had it since 2009. It's like,
I know.
bring it back. That was a cool match type. I liked it.
It was one of those where it was like the hardcore battle royal we had at WrestleMania 2000, but it had way more structure, and it was for the world championship. So I was like, okay, cool. Now this actually means something. Got it.
It should.
So, absolutely.
All right. Now, getting to Brett's super chat, which again, thank you, Brett, for that.
Yes.
He says, hello, American Brett Storm. I'll get to that in a second. How do we have so many damn similarities, even going to favorite food? So I found this out Friday because we were chatting back and forth about something. I can't remember what. And found out that I think I made a reference to like Garfield or something. And he brought up that his favorite food was lasagna. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? Because Brett and I it's scary how damn similar we are. I've made the comparison about his wrestling trivia knowledge being similar to that of mine. And the fact that, the fact that we share a favorite food, we both do the arm wrestling thing. It's like, good God, this is me from like 14, 15 years ago. Like, what is happening? Like, he is the Scottish Greg Cherry.
Yeah. Have you ever?
Tell you what, like words escape me how similar we are.
Have you ever told me your favorite food is lasagna ever?
I don't know if it's ever come up in conversation.
That's my favorite food.
It's my birthday meal every year.
Like, that's my birthday dinner every year. My mom makes lasagna and cheesecake every single year for my birthday because it's my
birthday dinner is lasagna.
Jesus Christ. We've been friends for how long?
Like I do birthday cake. Like I do traditional birthday cake.
Yeah.
Because Jen
yeah,
makes
it's funny. Like, I used to love the birthday cake, the cupcake texture. Man, I had my mom's cheesecake for okay, sold. I'm done. Thanks. Good night. So yeah, that's crazy that we share the same. We've been friends how long now? You've been following me since what, 2004, 2005?
Yeah.
So we've been friends for a good decade and a half. I just now find out we share the same favorite food. Jesus Christ. Oh.
But which one are you, Brett? Are you Kern or are you the original Doink?
I don't think either one of you are as evil as Matt Bourne turned out to be. So maybe it's Steve Kern and Ray Apollo.
Yeah. All right. On that note, let's bring up the wheel.
And hey, Steve Kern was a huge part of FCW's development in NXT.
He was.
So I'm all about.
I enjoyed that
Kern,
documentary. I watched that.
That was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's
it's
one
like,
of the.
Oh, look, he was more than just
the Alligator Man, and
he was more than just Skinner. All right, so here's praying that since you're here, it's not going to land on 100 jumping jacks again because F that.
That was terrible.
But if it does, I'll do it again.
It's one of those where
it's only one spot out of 24. Thank God.
But I mean, it hit it, so there you go.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, Brett, if you're the Doink interfered, you'd be Steve Kern for the record. So
that's an entrance. All right.
Doink! Gotta be Doink. Squirt the camera with the water flower. Dump confetti over yourself, something, and whatever.
And the doink that interfered was Steve Kern.
Yes,
right.
yes. Yeah. The original doink, the evil doink was Matt Bourne, who became Matt Bourne actually competed at the first WrestleMania. So that's how long he went back with wrestling in the company. But kind of went back and forth. He ended up being, I don't know if you remember this, Greg, being a fan as long as you've been, Big Josh in WCW with the Dancing Bears.
I didn't watch a lot of early WCW.
Yeah, it was rough. The 1990, 91, 92 seasons were just awful because Flair was in and out, and So Matt Bourne, the man who would become Doink, was a dancing with Bears lumberjack.
Well, speaking of, as we talked about this,
there we go. All right,
we'll go
Kendrick's
with
always a good entrance, especially V. Brian Kendrick.
Oh yeah, because regular Brian Kendrick is just running to the ring like Paul London.
Well, yeah, but if you do alternate, then we have to throw you off the air for sure because Spanky streaks. So no, that's a big no. Let's see what we got here. I just want to. There was something. So when we were talking about food, Josh said his Red Lobster is his birthday dinner every year. We had one Red Lobster in the area. I'm pretty sure it closed, which sucks. So, we had a whole little row. We had Red Lobster is closed, El Torito, Mexican restaurants closed. They're all just gone. Because they closed even before COVID. It was just they weren't getting people because they're so damned expensive.
Yeah, it's probably because California's taxed to death.
This is also true.
All right, full screen me. I'm gonna move that up and
do
the Brian Kendrick entrance. A lot less energy than the 100 jumping jacks. Thank God.
Yeah.
But
still is awesome.
Yeah.
God, I remember Brian's music. Isn't that awful? I don't remember his music already.
All right, here we go.
There we go. Right on. Oh, I love it. He's a man with a plan. That was awesome. Oh my God.
The Brian Kendrick was so fun.
Yes. And what was great about Brian was, he was, in and out of the indies throughout his WWE stints or whatever. We got to see him so much at PWG that he became one of those unofficial Team No DQ buddies. He's like, hey, Brian. This close, not going to lie, to having Dylan's mom go outside and partake with him before we had to bail and catch a ride home. So that's how cool Brian was with us. So there you go.
But it's like former WWE champion, the Brian Kendrick, unofficially.
There you go.
For 6 whole minutes, he was WWE champion.
Yep. It's funny you mentioned that. I told you before we went on, I was watching early 2002 or first half 2002 WWE television when Rob Van Dam Phantom won the undisputed title for about 2 seconds before Flair came down and restarted the match because Taker's foot was on the ropes. No, and we had to wait 4 more years for him to be champion. It's
technically, if you go by the way that Lillian Garcia announced it, he was champion very briefly because Taker was announced as the new undisputed champion.
Yeah, I always wondered about that. Did they actually go back and
Yeah, they retcon that, but
they did. But it's
but in the moment, it's oh, did Van Dam technically win the WWE championship for 3 minutes?
Right, and just one of those things where they had that, and then I still stand by the fact he should have been champion when he feuded with Hunter in 2002. But I get why. Hunter had to be that dominant champion just to make everybody just so pissed off that when he finally lost, it was a visceral moment.
And plus, it was the turn of Ric Flair and the slow beginning of Evolution, which became a big deal.
And, you know, doesn't help that your boy won the title from him in the Elimination Chamber. Even Triple H had a legitimately crushed trachea thanks to my boy.
The fact that he kept wrestling for like 25 minutes after that, it's like, dude, screw that. Pin me and get me out of there. Like,
seriously, I will. That was one of those moments in time where, yeah, we started on the old show, you know, ragging on Triple H and his undying reigns as champion. But you watch that initial loss when he first lost the championship the first time, the world championship to Shawn in the Chamber. It's like he literally couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
And he still went 20, 25 more minutes. Forever respect to that. And I know it's yeah. What was he champion too much? Probably. Did he deserve to be? Yeah. You know, it's like it's one of those, like we talk about all the time, you and I. You know, why not bet on somebody you know isn't going anywhere? He's the son-in-law. He's not going anywhere. You know, you got to put your money there. Same with TNA with Jarrett. You know, people shit on the fact that Jarrett's a 6-time NWA champion. It's like, yeah, but Jarrett's not going anywhere. He's got, you know, he's tied up in that. I mean, of course, he ended up leaving after all because of all the, you know, Panda Energy Carter bullcrap. But you know, again, you put your money, you put your product on where you can rely on. And, you know, Josh, I'll even co-sign on this because I agree in terms of ability to, you know, sustain storylines and sustain matches and championship reigns without relying on, you know, the old 1-2 reliable combo. Triple H is that guy. You know, long-term overall picture, though, without Hogan, there's no Triple H if you really want to dissect this. And we can down the line, not today. It's Greg Cherry show. So,
yeah. We've only got till 8:00, and then winter is coming.
And I get to see it live too because TNT has a hockey game after at 7:00 my time, so I get to watch it as it unfolds for you guys too.
There you go, and it's quite the pay-per-view looking card.
Yeah,
too. Should be
looking forward to it.
What was I going to say? Lost track of. I had some like anecdotes. Oh yeah, Triple H should have lost the world title at WrestleMania 19.
To Booker. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Because I mean that storyline was uncomfortable. Number one. Number two, like I know you gave Booker the title like 3 years later, but like, man, even if you gave it to him for that month and then he lost it at Backlash,
yeah,
like, at least
just something.
Like give Booker that moment at WrestleMania, winning the world title.
I wonder if they
again, like even if they were wreck on that and Triple H would have won it the next night on Raw, at least Booker would have had that moment.
I wonder if they didn't because they knew they were going to get the moment with Brock before Brock obviously almost botched his damn self out of it. But
because Goldberg was coming and that's who Triple H wanted to lose the title to, or who Goldberg like. He probably had like a stipulation in his contract. It's like I got to be world champion at least once.
Yeah, and when you figure that after Goldberg was done with The Rock, it was literally those two all summer. Like they built, and then he didn't win in the Chamber, which is interesting at SummerSlam. Yeah. And then he ended up winning the next month at Unforgiven, and then the whole bounty thing went down with going into Survivor Series. So it was an interesting development. Like I said, I still think Booker should have had at least, you know, a month, maybe two, with it before he became King Booker. Like I love King Booker, one of the greatest things ever. But you know, Van Dam not winning it earlier than he did, Booker not winning earlier than he did. A lot of guys, you know, not winning it when we feel they should have. It's always talked about. So you know, it really just depends on what the hell was that. You have to kind of, you know, look at things big picture. It's like, okay, you know, yes, this happened, but then this happened as a result. So again, we always talk about the butterfly effect on Talk Wrestling and shows I do with you. It's, you know, you pull one thread, everything goes haywire. So
pretty much. Yeah, and like Brett Storm says in the chat, they did a 6-man tag, so there's no excuse that they couldn't have just done a world title match because the 6-man tag was just to like get Nash back in the picture. Like, was it really necessary? Like, did we need to see Triple H and Nash and Hell in a Cell?
No, but I tend to look at that story with a little bit more favor than a lot of people do, I think, because we got Kevin Nash back, who I've always enjoyed watching. we got McFoley back in the company, which nobody saw coming after the way he and Vince parted ways 11, whatever it was, 18 months prior, whatever it was. It was a long road back for Mick to come back, and that night in the Garden started the path to the feud with Orton. So again, if we don't get Foley back, we don't get that ridiculously great match with him and Orton at Backlash, which, I actually just came upon the memory on Facebook of saying that Edge and Foley was my greatest of all time. And you're like, excuse me. And what about Orton Foley? I was like, said what I said. I felt that way. I thought Edge and Foley was better. I mean, Orton and Foley was much more intense, much more personal. When you figure he brought Cactus Jack out of him, which I didn't think we ever see Cactus Jack ever again. But I just felt the Edge Foley match was better paced, better, just better on a few different fronts.
I agree. So we're briefly going to talk about football. Like, we're not going to delve into it too much, because, bowl season's coming up for college. Obviously, I don't have anything to talk about till January 1st, because that's when Notre Dame plays Oklahoma State.
Right.
And screw Alabama. Go Cincinnati. That's the only time I root for Cincinnati, is when they play Alabama.
And college ball, and then as far as the NFL, it's still a random ass shit show every weekend. You know what you're going to get out of the freaking NFL.
At this point, I don't understand the NFL. Like, I've been watching NFL football for 25 years. I have no idea what's going on. Like, I can't predict nothing.
Seriously, watching NFL is like being your local weatherman. Let's spin the wheel and see what happens. I don't freaking care anymore.
Or you can spin this wheel and see what happens. I'll bring it back up on screen. You can spin this wheel right here and see what happens for a $5.
That's right. That only costs you $5 as opposed to trying to, weatherproof your house.
Yeah. So go ahead and do that if you want. If you need the link, I can post it for you.
Exactly. Yeah, the NFL is like watching, random acts of kindness, in reverse. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. It is the proverbial Forrest Gump box of chocolates. You don't know what the hell's going to happen when you turn on the TV. You just sit back and hope and pray.
Yeah, Brad, this is an easy one. A trivia question for the Q&A, and let's go for a Christmas question. What was the name of the evil Santa that was part of the $1 Million Corporation? It was Santa Claus.
Balls Mahoney.
Balls Mahoney. Yes.
It was.
I know it was.
So there you go. Xanta with an X. Because
how can you create a Santa-like gimmick and have it last? I mean, it obviously didn't last a long time, but how do you expect to get longevity out of a holiday-themed gimmick?
Yeah. Well, again, it's remember, it's 1995 WWF. Anything long-lasting out of that era they're already in the Hall of Fame now because of work they did, not just that year, like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Nash, Scott Hall, those guys, it was just, what's that?
Triple H,
exactly. Those guys, the people that were around 95 and endured through it and then got through to the other side and had amazing careers afterwards, or even the ones that had careers before that, like Bret. A lot of Bret's body of work was prior to that 95 shit show that WWF was, but he had some great stuff afterwards too. He and Shawn had that incredible match at WrestleMania. The Hart Foundation the following year. So, there's a lot of good that came out of 95 talent. It's just when you really look at that year, it looks like the WWF truck was stuck in the snow, whereas the WCW truck was plowing through it. So, it just WCW was hitting all cylinders every single time.
Yeah. And it almost makes you wonder, I don't know if WWE sees AEW as a legitimate threat, but it reminds me of that early Monday Night War. Some people don't like to think that way because A, they're on different nights. B, Dynamite is not getting anywhere near the numbers on Wednesday that Raw or SmackDown are getting on Monday and Friday, respectively.
Right.
But as far as knowledge about a company, AEW has more momentum than Impact did when they tried to go head to head in 2010.
Right.
I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Had TNA gone head to head in 2006, I feel like they might have had a better shot because that was when TNA was probably at its best, 2006, 2007. at its height of popularity, I guess I should say, because
Well,
2005 really led into it, and
right.
I know they had the deal. They got the deal like in 2004 initially with Fox Sports, but I feel like as TNA grew, they could have maybe not been competitive, but more competitive than they were in 2010.
I'm just wondering if people, because again, this is how I see things with TNA. I felt they were at their best before they started, bringing in the WWE, main eventers. Yes, Kurt Angle was a great force in TNA wrestling, as was Christian Cage. But if you think about that first 2 years, 2002 to 2004, even as they got the deal with Fox Sports West and Fox Sports Net, ended up going, south, and they went to Spike after that. That roster, I would put that roster up against NXT when NXT was the awesomeness that it was just a couple years ago. And I'd love to see that kind of dream supercard because both sides bolstered an amazing array of talent.
Mm-hmm.
2006, 2007, or 2005, 2016, yes, it was great. And we were still covering it quite a bit on the No DQ media shows. But we could already tell it wasn't the same as it had been. And it was like, don't know. And then, like I said, they went up against WWE in 2010. It was very much WWE light by that point. So it was like, ugh.
Especially because they brought in Hogan, they brought in Bischoff,
Right.
They brought in a bunch of guys. One of the biggest frustrations with me about the Hogan era is probably something that's not even talked about, but it's the fact that they, after main eventing the previous pay-per-view for a world championship, Christopher Daniels lost to Sean Morley.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, fuck this company. It's like, how can you put Val Venus, Sean Morley, a guy who hadn't won a pay-per-view match in years, over Christopher Daniels, who was like part of the lifeblood of TNA? It's like, at that point, you can piss off. And I was kind of done with TNA at that point.
Oh, honestly. Yeah, absolutely. As was I. It was like I said, I only covered it for work at that point. It's why I did it. But Anthony, we do see your trivia question. I do know the answer. We will get to it during the Q&A if we get that far in the process. We'll see how we do.
I almost said IWC, but that's the Super Indie tournament. That's
right.
Something different.
Right.
All right. So yeah, the AFC North.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
I don't know what's going on with it. Like, the Steelers are in last place, 6-6-1, which is not a completely awful record. I don't know what to do with this team. I really don't. I have no idea who's showing up and when they're showing up.
We talked about a lot last year about the NFC East being the shit show in terms of, records and whatnot. Man, AFC North, it's not a shit show. It's just chaos.
It's absolute chaos. I mean, don't know who's showing up like week to week. And the Browns actually did the Steelers a favor by beating the Ravens. And, the Bengals losing in overtime helps the Steelers too, because it puts them only about one game back of both the Browns and the Bengals, and only two games back of the Ravens with 4 games to go. And the Steelers play the Ravens again.
Yep.
And I believe they play the Browns again too. They got swept by the Bengals. So,
right. Considering how inconsistent the Steelers have been, those 2 games will be everything.
Let me put it this way. If the Steelers somehow come out of this and win the Super Bowl, I'll shave my head.
Wow.
I have no faith in that happening.
Wow.
Because I don't know what's going on. Like,
right. Some
games you look like, oh, this is a stellar defensive performance. And then the game against the Vikings, I know it was on a short week, but it's like, what the hell is this team doing? It's
the fact that the Lions tied you guys and they beat the Vikings. It was just like, seriously, the entire league's a shit show, craziness at this point. The Lions are winning games against people they shouldn't be beating. There's a tie in two teams' record right now. It's like, what? It's the whole thing is just bananas. And meanwhile, the Cowboys are just coasting along.
The NFL is just one big 50-50 booking, it looks like.
Right? Yeah, they were. Somebody mentioned that earlier. Let's see where I can.
Somebody mentioned, I might have been Josh that mentioned the NFL is kind of like Vince booking Raw.
There we go. There it is. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was Josh.
It feels like they're booking it like that, doesn't it? It's like you have no idea. You have a tune to see what's going to happen next. Anything can happen in the NFL.
It's just so confusing.
It is.
I watch Steelers games not with like the energy of like, yeah, let's go. We're going to whoop their ass. It's like, I have no idea what's going to happen. Like, I don't know what to be excited for because I don't know.
See, I'm not sure how I feel about Anthony's comment, but I'll go ahead and there you go. Yeah. You go.
Well, here's the thing. I'll agree with this because F Tom Brady, but there's a reason why. So, I don't know if do you follow Pat McAfee on Twitter?
No, but I do keep up with what people are saying that he says. Okay. Yeah.
So like he does the FanDuel thing every week.
Okay.
It's basically like making 3 bets. They're free,
right?
Just by following his Twitter and predicting what you think was going to happen. So I predicted Dallas would cover their spread, which was 4.5 points. I predicted that Dallas would cover the spread. Right. I predicted that the Chiefs game would have over 47.5 points scored, and the Chiefs did that by themselves. So thanks, Kansas City.
Right.
And then I predicted that Josh Allen would have more passing yards than Tom Brady. So when it went to overtime, Josh Allen actually had more passing yards than Tom Brady, and they got the ball first. The Bills got the ball first. So I was like, okay, cool. The Bills drive down the field. They score a touchdown. I win my freaking bet. And then, of course, they go 3 and out. And then Tom Brady throws a 60-yard touchdown. I'm like, motherfucker. like, come on. Yeah. Like, I'm good for 1 out of 3 every week. And like, I felt really good about this one. And then Tom Brady had to screw everything up. Why do you do this to me, Brady? Why?
But let's not undersell that. At his age, at his stage of the career, he's throwing 60, 65-yard passes. Like,
well, I mean, it was like a 10-yard pass that the receiver took.
And okay. Somebody this last weekend threw a 65-yard. I forget who it was now, but it was like 60. It was in the air for 65 yards. I was just like, wow, like my brain can't even make that happen in a fantasy league. Yeah. 65 in the air.
Speaking of fantasy football, I made the playoffs in both of my leagues.
Boy, there you go. See,
but
it's not all darkness and chaos and mayhem.
Yeah. So Brett Storm donated again, so we're gonna get another wheel spin. He says, "Why not another donation? Hopefully, it lands on to tell the truth, so I can ask my Shane McMahon question."
Oh yes.
If there's a Shane O'Mac match that I hate. Also, is my WTC match tomorrow or different one? No, yours is tomorrow, and I have not started editing it. But don't worry, hey, I didn't start editing last week's until the day of, right. So, it'll be up tomorrow. It's
I need to
who the frick did you face?
Yeah, I've got 2 shows I gotta have edited. One for Friday, one for Saturday.
I still have to get 2 of the semis done.
Oh wow!
Like I have. Yeah. I wanted to get it done before Christmas. I don't know if that's going to happen now. Yeah. I mean, it might have to be after, honestly. But I do have 2 semifinal matches canned, which I won't say who's involved in those because a couple of those matches have yet to air. Right. But yeah, I have a couple semis done, so that'll be fun. But yeah, Brett, your match is tomorrow. Who did you face? Why can't I remember who you faced?
We're still first round, right?
We're still first round, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah. So it should be. Oh God, I was part of the damn bracket. Isn't that awful?
I filmed the match. I don't remember.
Right? Yeah, it's awful.
This does not bode well for me. Come the final.
Oh wait a second. Okay, wait. Hang on. Hang on. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, do we have the graphic like in the thing?
No. Just a second.
Okay. Well, while you do that, Steve Mesa. That was it. I couldn't remember. Yeah, I couldn't remember. Oh boy, this is not boding well for me come the championship match if I can't even remember
right.
who I recorded matches with.
Oh yeah. Okay. It's a good thing I kept scrolling. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. So yeah, Mason.
I'm gonna have my work cut out for me come the end of February.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so here we go. Your next spin.
All right, let us pray, folks.
Get away from the jumping jacks. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay.
Oh, no.
That's fine. I changed them from push-ups because sit-ups aren't as bad.
No. Push-ups for the friggin' devil.
Yeah, F push-ups. That's why I took them off the wheel.
Right, yeah, just awful.
All right. So, Brett, if you want to ask me my Shane question, you'll have to donate again.
That's right. Unless you. Now, while he gets it up for
you
that,
could just
I'll
donate a bunch at once and get a bunch of spins and hope it lands on them.
All
All right. Got to get down on the ground. Got to get my body down to music.
See if I can find so while you're setting up for that, I'll go ahead and throw the trivia question up there since I you said you didn't know or you had the wrong answer, but the question was what's that?
I'm not great with the indies, honestly.
Oh, that's okay. It actually is up there, not in your area per se, but it actually was the ECWA.
That makes sense. Yeah, I've heard about that. It just didn't click.
It's supposed to. I've never seen one live or anything of the matches on tape or the actual match or whatever. But it's supposed to be a really kick-ass tournament. It was really big when I was first starting out doing my little podcasting stuff. And Josh, no, we're not going to see Santa Foley at WWE because he was just on Hard Times 2. So
Hard Times, Daddy. All right, full screen me.
Okay.
And we're not going to just see a shot of my crotch, but
whoa,
hey, no,
hey.
All right, here we go. Just 20.
The Body on his music was a thing. I forgot all about that. What is it? 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Maybe these are worse.
It's all right. You got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'll tell you why I'm laughing when you're done. I'm laughing at you, I promise. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There you go. Attaboy.
Frick.
So when you have the shot of your crotch up, Josh goes, is this the start of the Great Tree OnlyFans?
I don't think anybody would pay for that. I don't think Jen would pay for that either.
I was gonna say.
If we're being honest.
Oh my God. There's a fine line between needing money and just no. Oh my God. That's tremendous.
I'm just gonna chill here. I don't feel like fixing the camera.
Screw it. All right. So we're gonna push Idaho State. Well, no, we still have 15 minutes. We're good.
All right.
All right. Did you have those queued up, or do you want me to queue them up?
Queue up wherever you want.
Okay. Let's see. Idaho. All right. Let's see. We'll go ahead. All right. So we'll do the one from onlyinyourstate.com.
Oh, boy.
There we go. Okay. These are actually laws written down in the state of Idaho. It is illegal, it is against the law to live in a dog kennel or a house unless you're a dog. Like, no shit. Why would you want to?
Like what kind of fancy ass dog kennels you building? It's like, oh yeah. Whenever I'm in trouble with my wife, I just come out here. That's called a shed, first of all.
Right. So, all right, here's one that doesn't make sense when you hear it. It's probably worded wrong. You okay?
Chaos.
Jesus Christ. Just fall in the kitchen. In Idaho Falls, it is illegal to ride a motorcycle if you're over 88. Like, I can get with driving it.
Yeah.
But not necessarily. I mean, if you're riding, you're pretty much, if you're riding somebody else driving, you're pretty much safe. I
mean, it's probably to protect people because if you fall off the motorcycle when you're 88, that's the last thing you're going to do.
Yes. Yeah, and again, Brett with the question about the first one, we all know who lived in a kennel that made the thing to actually exactly. That's why we do these. So
I like having an oven in there.
right? And it is illegal to ride a merry-go-round in Idaho on Sunday.
Okay.
And no, I don't mean a carousel. I mean one of those little merry-go-round, like those little round, like things you sit on, and, like as a kid, and they spin. It's kind of like a poor man's version of the teacups, but they call it a merry-go-round. Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. In Tamarack, Idaho, it is illegal to buy onions after dark without a permit.
Who has a black market for onions in Idaho?
Right.
That's not even the right vegetable. Sorry, potatoes are starch. Yeah. Whatever.
You also, in Idaho, must have permission from the sheriff to sell chickens after sundown.
Again, who's doing late night chicken shopping?
Yeah. Well, maybe they're trying to make a munchie meal since they got high. They're trying to make chicken with onions and some other things. We'll see.
Now, are these live chickens or are they just like?
All it says is you cannot sell chickens after sundown without permission from the sheriff. So you would hope that McDonald's drive-thru wouldn't be subject to this.
Yeah.
Hunting with a remote using the internet is punishable by law in Idaho. So,
first of all, if you're able to hold on, I actually, if you are ingenious enough to be able to hunt without actually getting up out of your house and doing it, make that legal. Damn, like
seriously,
I am the king of coming up with the easiest way to do things, so I look like I'm a lazy son of a bitch. But like, if I'm able to like put food on the table and not have to, I just click a button. Yeah, I'm doing that. Granted, I have to drag the thing, but
that's okay.
It doesn't affect me in my area anyway because there's not a whole lot of. I mean, there is deer around here, but it's not like where I live.
Right. Yeah, they're not that close to the house. However, it's also forbidden to hunt from a helicopter, whether it's in the air or not, in Idaho.
That just seems like a pain in the ass, so that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. So Anthony asked about. Let's see. Anthony, I wonder if it's legal to stuff Idaho potato in a person. Whoa. Okay, that's a whole other sentence. Selling an Idaho deluxe potato with rot, blemishes, or sun damage can get you sent to jail for up to 6 months.
That seems excessive.
A little bit.
What happened? This potato had a dot on it. Oh, well, throw this guy in prison. Take all his rights away.
That's right.
Hang him.
So, okay, in Pocatello, Idaho, you are required by law to smile. And here's the exact quote of the readout. It is prohibited for pedestrians and motorists to display frowns, grimaces, scowls, threatening and glowering looks, gloomy and depressed facial appearances, generally all of which reflect unfavorably upon the city's reputation. So if you're in Pocatello, your ass better be grinning whether you're happy or not to be in Pocatello.
Smile. Oh, you gotta smile. Smile or I'll punch you in the face.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Here's where things get a little tricky. Public displays of affection in Idaho are limited to under 18 minutes. Now, I don't know about y'all out there. 18 minutes is a long time for PDAs.
I don't need 18
minutes. How much do we ride that line before we get in real trouble anyway?
You completely missed what I said.
I did. What'd you say?
I said, I don't need 18 minutes.
What? Hey.
Hey-o.
Hey, that could be good or bad. Okay. In Eagle, Idaho, the city name is Eagle.
Yeah.
It is illegal to sweep dirt from one's house into the street. I'm actually okay with this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what vacuums are for.
Right, exactly. Okay. Okay. So the next two go together. First of all, the state of Idaho forbids you from fishing off the back of a camel. But before you go looking for other animals to fish off the back of, giraffes are also off limits to fish off of. If you're fishing and you're using a camel or a giraffe, I want to know your secrets to keeping those sumbitches afloat.
I want to know why you didn't just spend the money on a boat. I figured the animals would be more expensive.
Right. Okay. And we're going to end with this.
With a camel before they're like, okay, you gotta stop that. There's way too many humps around here. We gotta cut back on it.
Yeah. So here's the one that we're probably going to end the show permanently with, but I'll go ahead and read it off anyway. According to the quote mayhem section of Idaho Code, cannibalism is illegal unless necessary to survive.
I thought that was going to be way worse.
I'm just reading that. It's like you cannot eat other people, but if you do to survive, it's okay. It's never okay.
It's not okay. But I honestly thought it was going to be like way worse. It's still not okay, but it's not as detrimental as you initially built it up.
Hey, I'm just saying, having Idaho say it's okay to be a cannibal if shit happens, that's so much for me even. So,
yeah.
Oh man. Okay, let's see. All right, questions. Love of God Q&A section. Good grief. All
right, what do we got here?
I think we already got to them as we were going along here, but
we might have.
Oh, here you go. So, based on your favorite food, does Britain have sheets? I don't think they do over there.
No, it's just an East Coast thing.
Right.
I think it only goes down to Virginia because I think the rest of the way south has Wawa, which not as good as sheets.
Right.
And there's also Buc-ee's down in Florida, which I've never been to.
So, a friend of mine who, I don't know if he grew up out here and went to school back there or whatever, but I have a friend who went to school in Ohio, former personality on their shows back in the day, graduated out of Akron. He said today that Whataburger is greater than In-N-Out. I don't know if you've ever had either one of those. What's your take on that?
I don't think I have had either one of those. I know for a fact I haven't had it In or Out.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had Whataburger yet. I've had Burgatory, which I don't know if that's a national chain.
Not that I've heard of, no.
Okay, it might just be like around here then.
I'll tell you what. I finally had White Castle when I was in Vegas because they're actually out that far west now. Not impressed at all. Like I was hoping for a lot. Oh wow, it wasn't that good. And I had both the chicken and the burger. I was like, okay.
I had Jersey Mike's for the first time a couple weeks ago.
I love that.
I wasn't impressed. I thought
really?
It was just like any other sub place.
I don't know. You see, figure for me. Remember, we've got here in my area anyway. We've got our local little mom and pop shop, Tiny's, which is a little pricey, but they're homegrown. They're mom and pop. We try to support them. And then across the street, we've got Subway, and then across the other street, one more, we got Jersey Mike's. So they're all right there together. So we get all three of those all the time. Dylan loves Subway, swears by it. Eats at Tiny's when he's got after school. Thing right there because the school's like right down the street pretty much or close to. I don't know. It's all whatever. But I like all three of them. I honestly have my favorite sandwich, like chicken bacon ranch from Jersey Mike's. I will take that any day of the week. That stuff is amazing. At Subway, they have a really good oven roasted chicken breast that I support. That I stand by. At Tiny's, it's the Tiny special. It's got like 3 different kinds of like lunch meat and cheese. It's so good. But again, I just had Tiny's for the first time recently, which was crazy, and because I lived here my whole life.
Yeah. Anthony asks, winner is coming tonight. Who do you think walks out AEW champ, Hangman or Bryan? I've been torn on this.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like they'd want to give Hangman a little longer reign, but I would not be surprised if they put the title on Danielson.
I'd be okay with either, for the record.
So would I.
We've made no secret on at least my channel and the Q channel how much we love Bryan Danielson over the years. But Hangman, it's one of those where it was such a great build. Do they already torpedo it? Like, I don't know. It's one of those where if Bryan wins, he has to reign for a long time because he is he's the greatest wrestler in the world. In his little. Well, not his little, but his mind. But then, I'd be interested to see a heel Bryan Danielson versus a babyface CM Punk, see how they pull that off.
I mean, they did it before in WWE, but that was Daniel Bryan and not Bryan Danielson.
Right. It was, I lost my damn mind chanting, yes, Daniel Bryan, not I'm going to kick your effing face in Bryan Danielson.
I'm going to say Hangman retains just because I think the next champ will be MJF.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's been a hot topic too. MJF's the guy. He's next up, and Revolution's only a couple months away, so it's going to be March 6th.
They might save it for Double or Nothing.
True. I mean, that's their. See, that's the thing. They don't really have a WrestleMania like this is our show. This is our marquee show because all 4 of their pay-per-views every year have been awesome. So, I'm totally down with that last comment though from Anthony. Since the Briscoes regained the World Tag Team titles in Ring of Honor on their last show, yes, give me the Briscoes and FTR. Since FTR was involved in that shenanigans, yes, please.
I'll give you another trivia question. Who did Undertaker face at Survivor Series 2006? In a first blood match, he faced off against Mr. Kennedy.
And if I recall, he lost.
Wait for it. Kennedy. And yes, Undertaker did lose because even though Kennedy bled like internally first, MVP was there to save him. And then he made Taker bleed. And then Taker hit Kennedy with one of the most vicious chair shots in the history of the world.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was a weird little feud. The Brothers of Destruction versus MVP and Kennedy.
I mean, I dug it, but I was always a Kennedy guy. So
right, exactly. Yep.
I would love for him. I know he's probably not in WWE's best graces. I would just love to see him come out in the Rumble once. Like just one time. He doesn't have to come back full time or whatever. Like, even though he could probably be a good mouthpiece for somebody like MVP is for Lashley. But
seriously, just come out to the stage, have the mic drop, introduce himself, run it, and then get thrown out right away. Like, who cares? It's all about the mic work again.
Make him come out at number 2 this year in the Rumble, get that pop, and then get him out early because obviously Kennedy's not going to win. He was a world champion in Impact, so that's fine. But that's it just a little nostalgia pop. I would be here for it. And he's got to be number 2 because he's got to do the full blown.
Oh yeah, the whole thing. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. As far as AEW doing a show, like I think they had that stadium stampede the one year, or maybe it was even last year where this year where they had Inner Circle versus Pinnacle. But again, they're still trying to stick their toes further in the water. They don't want to go all batshit right away, because that's the last thing you want to do is hit everything too soon and then not have anything to follow up. They'll get to a stadium. It'll happen. Aaron was talking about him and Caitlin and the gang were out at that little arena in Michigan for a WWE house show. Perfect for a WTV or a house show or even a pay-per-view. Just enough seats where it's not going to seem like it's small if it doesn't completely sell out, but they'll get the people in there where it won't look like it's a problem. Things like that. And again,
because it's almost 8:00 and we want to get you off to watch Winter is Coming tonight. So go enjoy the show. I'm sure it'll be a good one. I'm sure the main event will be a barn burner, Jilly Jacker to say the least, baby.
Jilly Jacker.
So go enjoy that. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and I'll definitely catch the end of Quizlemania to see exactly what Sean said. Don't spoil it for me. Don't let me know because I want to see it myself. But until next week, tune in to watch Wrestling Trivia Challenge tomorrow. And we will see you guys next week right here on the Greg Cherry Show. Have a good one.